all you need to know. The Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Brought to you by Small Cases. Invest in ready-made portfolios created by professionals.
Good morning. You're listening to the Daily Morning Update from Bloomberg Quint, and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 14th of November. Happy Children's Day to all the children out there, and also to the child inside you. In news on the economy, India's retail inflation rose to the highest in 16 months as food prices spiked due to unseasonal rains, which disrupted supplies of vegetables. However, core inflation, which reflects demand in the economy, fell sharply due to weak economic conditions. CPI inflation rose to 4.62% in October compared to 3.99% in September. A Bloomberg poll of 34 economists had estimated inflation at 4.35%. Core inflation fell to 3.44%, which is the lowest in the current inflation series, compared with 4.02% last month. The Department of Telecommunications has issued notice to telecom operators to pay their revenue share dues within 3 months, as directed by the Supreme Court, according to an industry source. The DoT has given telecom operators the option of clearing all their dues on self-assessment basis. According to an internal estimate prepared by the DoT, the total dues of telecom service providers arising out of the Supreme Court order stands at around 1.33 lakh crore rupees. Loan growth continued to fall in the second quarter of 2019-20, with the pace of expansion slipping to levels seen during the period of demonetization when banks had reduced lending activity sharply. Loan growth across banks and non-bank lenders, including housing finance companies, fell to 6% in the July to September period, according to data compiled by Credit Suisse. The slowdown was a combination of a sharp drop in disbursements from non-banking financial companies and moderation in credit flow from private and public sector banks. The Bombay High Court has allowed a plea by a group of lenders led by State Bank of India, paving the way for them to recover dues from Dewan Housing Finance Corporation or DHFL. A single-judge bench presided over by Justice A.K. Menon granted ad interim relief to the banks and financial institutions by directing the housing financier to make payments for present as well as future dues as per securitization or assignment agreements executed by it. Here's some international news. In the U.S., the first public hearing in the formal impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump took place last night. Chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, told reporters after the hearing that the newly disclosed phone call between Trump and U.S. diplomat Gordon Sondland is important because it makes abundantly clear that the president was involved in pressuring Ukraine to investigate his political rival. One of the officials who was testifying said his aide overheard the president on the 26th of July asking Sondland over the phone about the investigations, and that Sondland told Trump that the Ukrainians were ready to move forward. In Hong Kong, the unrest this week has taken things to a new level, and fears are growing as to what may come next. Protesters paralyzed the city yesterday for a third straight day, disrupting subway lines and blocking roads. The government ordered schools from kindergarten to college to shut on Thursday, that is today, the first time it's done so during the unrest. In international markets, US stocks ended mixed. The Dow rose 0.33%, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq ended flat. Asian stocks too are searching for direction in early trade. The Nikkei was marginally negative, while the other two early risers were positive, last I checked. Things could change dramatically with the economic data that is due to be released in China shortly. With that, it's over to Darshan Mehta for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Darshan. How are we looking today?
Hi Alex, good morning everyone. Global cues are muted at this point of time, but the SGX Nifty is indicating a slight positive outlook. The last four Nifty companies, Grasim, ONGC, Vedanta and Bharti Airtel will come out with numbers today. Among the other larger mid-caps, there is PFC, SAIL, Page Industries, HEG, Glenmark Pharma, NBCC, Union Bank, Apollo Hospitals, Dish TV, Balkrishna Industries and Gujarat Fluorochemicals. In terms of results announced, SpiceJet's results were slightly weak. There was strong top-line growth, but the yields worsened for the company. The yield was lower due to rising competitive intensity induced by pricing pressure. The other income was much higher as the company accounted for claims worth 177 crores receivable from Boeing. MTM foreign exchange losses and higher cost impacted the financials. Pidilite Industries numbers were below estimates. The PAT was aided by deferred tax reversal. There is near-term outlook uncertainty as the consumer and bazaar segment degrew. Liquidity crunch, prolonged monsoon and disruption dented the top line of the company as per the management. The margins were dented on account of lower revenues and higher A&P costs, and falling VM prices have led to a 400 basis points improvement in gross margin, even though that was not reflected in the operating margins. Blue Star results were above estimates. MAT credit and higher other income aided the financials, but the execution of a healthy order book aided the EMP segment, which grew 24%. Unitary products revenues was up 10%. Aarti Industries revenues were below estimates, operationally in line. Revenues were down 21% on account of weakness of its specialty chemical business. The margins were aided by lower raw material cost, and PAT was aided by lower financing costs. Right strong results, higher other income and deferred tax reversal aided the profit. Other income was recognized towards recovery of principal amounts towards arbitrary proceedings, and margins were impacted on account of higher cost towards turnkey projects. Bata was in line with estimates but slightly on the weaker side. The revenue growth was on a high base of 15% last year. Growth was on the back of new campaigns and attractive product launches, and lower effective tax rate boosted the profit of the company. Cadila Healthcare results were below estimates. There was an exceptional loss of 268 crores due to impairment. India business was up 24%, US was up 10%. And the management has discontinued sales from Moraiya following the warning letter. VHEL results were below estimates. The power segment revenues were down 18%. Industry segment revenues were up 24%. And the EBITDA rose on account of lower provisioning in spite of inferior sales mix. Finolex Cables revenues were flat, but profit was aided by higher other income and deferred tax. Margins were aided as raw material costs dropped. Among the other numbers, Muthoot Finance, Thermax, Apex Frozen Food were strong. Lemon Tree and IRCTC were in line, while Nalco was weak. Aurobindo Pharma, the Unit 4 has received a Form 483 with 14 observations from the US FDA. It's a key plant for them. Almost 30% of the overall filings are from this plant. Watch out for the telecom stocks. The Department of Telecom has asked the telecom companies to pay the AGR dues within 3 months. So Bharti Airtel has dues worth 62,000 crores, while Vodafone has 54,000 crores. Kohinoor Food received a letter from OBC declaring the company's account as willful defaulter. ARSS Projects received orders worth 75 crores from Rail Vikas Nigam, and Mishra Dhatu Nigam secured ordered worth 106 crores. And finally, Radhakishan Damani acquired 2.7 lakh shares in VST Industries. HDFC Mutual Fund was the seller, selling the shares at 4260 per share. But there's much more you need to know before trade actually starts. For that, log on to our website bloombergquint.com and click on the All You Need to Know tab, and you'll be prepared for morning trade.
Thanks, Darshan. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.